Rich Baldino. He is running for village trustee, and Rich has a little bit of advantage. He's been a trustee. I've seen him up there on the board, and he's done a great job. So Rich, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about what a term as a Village of Arlington Heights trustee has meant.
Well, thank you, Bill, and thank you all for holding this event. And thank you to all those that are watching this event. We really appreciate your attending. I am Rich Baldino, and I am running for re-election to the Arlington Heights Village Board. My family and I have lived here since 1999. We've raised 2 kids here who attended the public schools, participated in many park district programs, and we've spent many hours volunteering at our church and in our community. The most important thing to keep in mind about me is that I'm an environmental scientist. That perspective shapes how I think about policy and has led me to focus on sustainability in village government. Sustainability means different things to different people. So let me explain a little bit what I mean about that and how that ties into our village. Sustainability focuses on meeting the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their needs. The concept of sustainability is built on 3 pillars: the economic pillar, environmental pillar, and the social pillar. The first pillar is the economic pillar, and I'm focused not just on business growth, but on looking for diversity in business types. Diverse business enterprises in the village make our local economy more resilient to economic downturns and gives us a stronger tax base to keep property taxes low. The next pillar is the environmental pillar, and specifically I'm focused on environmental infrastructure as it relates to sustainability here in the village. Specifically, I'm focused on flood mitigation, sewer upgrades, and water main upgrades while holding the line on increasing taxes and fees. The last pillar is the social pillar and the work towards a sustainable community. We need a DEI commission to provide a forum for discussion and to recommend new policies and ideas to the village as we move forward. And diversity includes a lot of other visible and invisible factors beyond race, which has been at the forefront of everyone's mind lately. These other ideas include such things as religion, age, LGBTQIA, economic status, gender and gender identity, and disabilities, both mental and physical. I'm committed to making our village a stronger, more sustainable community for everyone as we move forward. I hope to have your support in the election for Arlington Heights Village Trustee. Early voting begins on March 22nd, and the election is on April 6th. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rich. Hey, Rich, you use the term DEI. What does that stand for?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I know that we talked a little bit about some of the opportunities that Arlington Heights has. Early on, one of the candidates had brought up the fact that Arlington Park, this is going to be their last year here. What type of ideas, what things have been talked about to make Arlington Heights sustainable in that area? That's a big chunk of real estate.
It is. It's a very big parcel. And first, let me say that I was very sad and disappointed to hear that they were going to be selling the property and that Arlington Park wouldn't be operating beyond this summer. I've heard many ideas put forward as to what might happen there. Things like sports venues and music venues. It's important that we keep an open mind at this point in the process. Because the process is going to be driven by whoever purchases the property. Now, the village can influence that to some degree via zoning ordinances and discussions with the developer before they go through the formal approval process. But again, we need to keep an open mind. The other point that I wanted to point out is that there's been a lot of concern about the loss of revenue to the village. And I would just remind folks that property taxes aren't going to go away just because the property is up for sale. The property tax will stay the same. The thing that will be lost to a certain extent and that will be need to made up is the sales tax and the food and beverage tax, which is substantial, but it's not as a big of a issue as the property tax added into it. So as you said, this is an opportunity for the community to come together and talk about what they'd like to see happen there. But we also need to be mindful about the impacts that any new development will have there on our schools and our school districts. And we also need to be mindful of the impacts on our neighbors. And I'm not talking about our neighbors here in Arlington Heights. I'm talking about our neighbors in Rolling Meadows and Palatine that border the property that Arlington Park sits on. What I think will happen most likely, I think it will be a mixed use development. I think there will be a mix of residential development. I think there will be some commercial development. And if we can get some entertainment venue in there, that's great. Personally, I'd love to see a soccer venue go up at Arlington Park because we have baseball in Schaumburg and we have hockey in Rosemont. I'd love to see soccer in a soccer stadium take the place there. The most important thing is that I am focused on year-round use of that property and not just a seasonal use, and to put this property to the best advantage to our village.
Well, candidates, we want to thank you all. I only ask one question each, but we got the key ones. And thank you guys for what you're doing.